Hello everyone, this is Lois Friend and you are Stamping with a Friend. Today is Saturday, August the 12th, and I'm going to be showing you the cards that we made in Card Club last week. I'm running just a little bit behind, but I'm going to apologize for that because my daughter was home visiting and my granddaughter was here, and we had some memory building time this week. So, and that's what's important to me, very important to me too. So I'm going to get started. The cards that we made this month feature, for the most part, the around the bend stamp set and die cuts. And you can find the die cuts on page 162 of the annual catalog, and the stamp set that coordinates with it is on page 116. It's a really versatile set, and I had it in my cupboard for a while and it had never touched ink, and I decided that August was the time to do that. Also featured in the with one of the cards, with this card, I also threw in some two-tone Flora, and that is on page, the dies are on page 167 of the annual catalog, and it coordinates with the two-tone Flora stamp set, which is found on page 34. I really, really like this flower, and I know you've heard me say, oh, I like this flower, I like, or I like this stamp, or I like this, I love this, this is one of my favorites. But this truly, this two-tone Flora flower is just really, really user-friendly. Maybe that's the way to say it. I really like it. And there's so many things you can do with that, and the dies that go with it are just perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And we'll start with this one. This is fairly easy. I mean, it is easy. It's not fairly easy. It's easy. And it would be probably classified as a stamp for a card for a beginner. So we will we're using the Lemon Lolly, and that's the new yellow, and I really like it. It's very, very light, very subtle. And we're going to use, there's the stamp, and I'll ink it up. And I will say that sometimes I have a bad habit of assuming that everyone knows exactly how to put the stamp in the ink. And for beginners, you just sometimes really don't. One of the mistakes that's often made with the stamps, especially on the ink pads that are extremely juicy, is pushing it down in too far, and then you'll get shadows on your on the edges sometimes. Sometimes you get it all over the block. You really do not have to. It's just a light touch. You don't have to bury it. I just do a sample there again on the piece of paper. It's really, really just a light touch. Okay. Now, for the sentiment, I'm going to be using Granny Apple Green. And this is just a stamp that says hello there. I like these stamps that are not specific for birthday or sympathy or thinking of you, you can always add something in the inside of the card later, but it's always good for a hello there. Okay. Now, the flowers that I have used for this card, there is just using the die, one of the die cuts from the Around the Bend die cuts. And this is Bubble Bath. This is our new pink. And then the leaves are also, there's no stamping involved. They are just cut from the Granny Apple Green paper and the Bubble Bath. But I went ahead and I did some in the essence of time. And for the center, for the little yellow center, I just used an old, what they call, it was a whale's tail. It's a Stampin' Up! Stamp from some years ago. And I ran some lemon lolly paper through an embossing folder to just give it a little bit of a texture. So this is easy peasy. We're going to go ahead and attach the card front. To the lemon lolly. And as I have been using glue a lot more than the tape runners, because the glue is forgiving. And if you get it crooked, which I so often do, you have a few minutes of time to move it around and get it straight. And this is just our regular white cardstock. Got a nice crisp fold with our bone folder. And then we'll put this like I said, this is a very, very basic card. It's a great card for a beginner. But it doesn't look like it's for a beginner when you have it all done. All right, now we'll add just a little bit of glue to the center. Attach that. Oops. And some glue to the back for the leaves. And I don't know if you can see, but that emboss, the die cut does all of the embossing and gives it the texture. It's a neat little set. Okay. Add some dimensionals to just make it pop. And there you go. First card done. Only 9.5 minutes since we've started. All right, so we'll lay those aside. And the next card is this card. Just a note, and this one maybe would be more for an avid stamper, but it's really, really not hard. All you need to do, there's several pieces, and like I said, in the essence of time, I went ahead and did some of the die cutting, but I will show you how I got this look. All right. There are, again, this is the basic or white. This is our berry burst. More bubble gum. And then for this piece, again, I don't know if you can see that this is embossed with the Countryside Blossoms embossing folder. And again, I'm going to add that sometimes I do forget to explain myself. And on our embossing folders, the best way to remember in order to get them straight and to get them facing the way you want, is if you look at our Stampin' Up! Emblem there, and there's a black line. If you line your cardstock up with that black line, with the Stampin' Up! facing you, and you should get the total image. Okay, and then the other part to it is using the die. We have another little piece of white, and this is one of the dies from the Around the Bend set, and you just using our big boss machine, you can die cut that. And I have already, like I said, in essence of time, I have already done that. And I wanted to add just a little bit of subtleness to the white. So I took one of our daubers and I used some of our Bubble Bath ink and just went along the edge, just to soften those edges just a little bit and get the distinction between the two layers of white. All right, now I'm using a stamp. I think it's from, I can't remember which one this is, which stamp set this is from. It's not from Around the Bend or the Two-Tone Flora. I can't remember where this Just a Note is from. I'm really sorry. I will put it in the comments. I'll figure it out. It might be from the Pansy Pansy. Okay. Got a little bit of pink on my fingers. So I'll lay that aside. Now we're going to take a piece of white and I'll show you how I built the flowers. For two of the flowers, I used the Bubble Bath. And these flowers, again, are from the Two-Tone Flora set. And when you're using the photopolymer stamps, the clear stamps, it's always a good idea to put one of our piercing pads or something under the cardstock to give it a nice firm base. Okay. Then for the other flower, you'll see I have two different colors. And I was trying to imitate my New Guinea impatiens that are on my front porch. They're just beautiful, and I was trying to make this look like them. I don't know if I succeeded or not, but these two flowers are the bubble bath base. Then this flower, I took the Berry Burst. This is what's called a two-step stamp, and I stamped off to get just a little bit lighter shade on a scrap piece of paper, and then I stamped it, and it's soft, but it is just a little bit different color, a little different shade than the other two. Now we'll come back with the second stamp in the Berry Burst, and we're going to get the flower center and the veining. Okay. Now, like I said, there are die cuts for this set, and I went ahead and die cut some. And I use a removable tape. It's made by Scotch Tape Company, and it's removable, and it holds, in order to die cut, it holds it in place, and it's removable. So I would die cut all three of these, but to save time, I went ahead prior to recording and I die cut 3. I also die cut leaves. This is from the Around the Bend set, and it's got all of the little markings. And if you do one piece of that in, I did this in old olive, and you get all these leaves just one time through. So I'm going to add some leaves. I'll do some basic ones. Now, while those are drying, I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the card. Berry Burst first. And this glue really does hold. Like I said, but if I get it a little crooked, it's forgiving. And I got it a little crooked. Okay, then the bubble bath. And I will put all the dimensions in the comments. Now for this, I'm going to make sure it lines up on this side. Whoops, got it crooked. And then I will add this layer. If you line up this side, justify this side, then this you can add any extra on this side to make it even. Got some glue in there. All right, now again I'm going to add some dimensionals just to pop it up a little bit. You can add as many of those as you want. And there's no right or wrong way to put them on. There's no positioning that makes them more right than others. I have found I love watching the girl, whoops, this is the one that each one, even though we're all doing the same card, the same material, each one of the cards comes out just a little bit, looking just a little bit different. And I just think that and if you want, then you can add more leaves, or if you have enough, that's your choice. So there you have it. I love those colors. All right, we're ready for card number 3. Oh, I should say on this one, if you want to add bling, you certainly can add bling if you want, if you care to. I have on some, and then on others I'll show you the one that I did a couple versions of the cards. And I added bling to that. I added some of the silver bling to that. And we can do that. I just forgot. Use our pick tool. And I like to put odd number of bling on the, I always do either 3 or 5, depending. Okay, there. Now we're done. All right, the next card is another card from the, using one of the dies from the Around the Bend set. And what I have done, I'll show you. You will take just the card front, place your die so that it's all on the card, and yes, you should attach that to the, so that it doesn't slip. Use some washi tape, or like I said, I use Scotch removable tape, and you'll run that through our big machine, and this is what you'll get. And again, for the sake of time, I went ahead and did that before I started the video. It just makes a nice, nice finish. And it's something just a little bit different, a little fancy. And I'm going to be using the stamp You Are a Blessing from the Around the Bend set. This is Sweet Sorbet. And again, you don't need to push it into the ink. Just touch it lightly. All right. And the dies for these were the 3 little flowers. One die has the 3 little flowers, and I went ahead and I did do that. There's little. Now, on my card, I did not put anything on the back of the flower, but one of my card makers suggested just something a little yellow to put in the back. And it was like, that's a great idea. So I just got a regular old paper punch, hole punch, and punched 3. And I thought that was just a really neat suggestion. I learned so much from the girls. I don't have all the answers, and I'm learning just right along with everybody else. So they put one of these on the back, and it fills in those little holes that are in the flowers. Like I said, I thought that was a great idea. Sorry, I forgot. I always forget that I get out of the camera. I'm standing above my camera, and I try to keep everything within the camera view, but sometimes I fail miserably. Okay, one more. Okay, now, all right, for the inside of the card, I used Designer Series paper. Now, again, this is your preference. If you want to have the full card, you can always, you probably would want to cut this just not quite as short, and that way you have that whole inside of your card to write your message. Some of the girls, they went ahead and put it in, attached it inside. Some of the girls added another little piece of white to write more of a message. I just thought what I would do was write my message there on this top, underneath the top layer. It's a matter of preference. It really, It really doesn't, there's no right or wrong way to do it. So now we'll attach some leaves. And again, I'm using some of the leaves that were left over from the card we did earlier. Well, I've got it plugged up. There. I'm going to add some leaves. Let them dry. Got a little too much glue there. I'll put these on. Okay. And while that dries, I'm going to color some of our rhinestones with the Sweet Sorbet alcohol marker. And I think this is so awesome that you can make anything match by using the alcohol markers. And again, it does have to be the alcohol. Our regular markers will not stay on there. It wipes off. So like that. All right. And I'm going to use our mini dimensionals for the flowers. Okay. Got a little too much glue on that. I'll have to go back and fix that. And then we'll add some bling. All right, and that is the 3 cards that we made in Card Club. Like I said, we were featuring the Around the Bend with a little bit of two-tone flora thrown in there. And it's 3 different ways to use one set, and that seems to be the route I'm going. I'm trying to work smarter and not harder, and I like to give my card makers options to use the sets that, you know, in more than one way. So I think that is everything for today. We will be getting a September to December new catalog. I've seen it. I have them in my possession. If any of you would like a catalog and you don't currently have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. You can contact me through my Facebook. I have a Facebook, Lois Friend from Heart and Hands, or make a comment in the comments on this video, or you can email me at loisfriend@gmail.com. Let me know your address and I will get a catalog sent to you. If you're local, we can either do drop off or pick up. There's some really, really neat new sets. If you're local and would like to come to a class of mine, I do have classes just about every month. I'll be wrapping up my 2023 card club next month, and I won't get that started again until January. However, I will be offering some Christmas card buffets for opportunities for you to do all your Christmas card needs. So I think that's everything. I appreciate you watching. If you subscribe to my channel, you will be notified when I post a new video. I try to do something at least once a month. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do ask that you be kind. I'm not a professional. I'm very much an amateur, but I love card making and I love to share my love of card making with those who are interested. So everyone, have a great rest of your summer and we'll see you back here soon. Thanks.